Jumping into the number 5 spot of the best budget gaming IEMs is the Zero 2s, coming in at a price tag of $24.99. If you want to check out any of the 5 IEMs in this video, there's Amazon links below for the US, UK, Canada, and international links. But let's talk about the 7Hz and Crinacle collab, the Zero 2s. Firstly, the build. The earbud itself is made of a translucent plastic, either blue or a clear, or you can even do like a black. Then there is a machined stainless steel plate on the front with Zero 2 etched in it, which is pretty cool. Overall, I think they look very attractive, especially for the price point. Then in the box, you get a total of 6 rubber ear tips to customize the fit to your ear and your ear canal. But with that, let's talk sound quality on the Zero 2s. For only 25 bucks, this is great. Definitely better than any $25 gaming headset. So if what you're really going for is sound quality and you don't mind something fitting in your ears, then this is going to be a better pick for sound quality over basically any other headset. And that's just due to the nature of what an IEM is and, well, how it functions. The sound is very well balanced, bass is nicely tuned but not overpowering. You do lack some clarity in the mids and upper frequencies, but they are balanced nicely. Overall, they sound good. You just don't get as much clarity and detail in the directional sound that you will get with other IEMs on the list in a slightly higher price point, but still in that budget area. Now, you can easily tell which direction footsteps or gunfire are coming from easily, but just not as detailed and as crisply. Now, comfort, let's talk about it. Firstly, this is going to be very, very subjective because ear shape. However, even with its angular shape, these fit in my ears nicely with no discomfort. The rubber ear tips are soft and these are quite light, which makes them great for long gaming sessions, which is pretty standard amongst IEMs, but yeah, there's no problems there. Now, the ear hooks fit nicely around my ears, but they aren't as rigid as some of the others on the list, so it's not quite as tight of a fit, making them not feel as locked in. So that's definitely up to personal preference, but I do prefer a more locked in feel. Still overall very comfortable. For connectivity, this is obviously wired to get lossless audio with a rubber coated 2-pin 0.75mm cable with a 3.5mm connection to then plug into your PC or whatever you're using. This is easy to replace down the road. It's pretty much standard. It's definitely the cheapest feeling cable on the list, but the price point reflects that. And as for mic, there is no mic, so you'll have to use like an external mic or figure something else out for your mic if you are going to be doing like Discord gaming. But for the price point, we do kind of expect that. But with that, let's move on to the number 4 spot. And this is the FiiO FH3, coming in at a price point of $109.99. This is the most expensive IEM on the list and really almost breaking out of that budget price point, but it's something definitely to consider, especially if like they go on sale. Now, these definitely feel like the most premium out of the box. And obviously the price point reflects that. The whole shell is made out of metal with the faceplate having a protruded wavy design. The cable feels premium with metal accents and thick rubber metal coating. It feels robust, durable, and overall just very premium. In the box, you also get a hard plastic carrying case, a soft fabric carrying case, and 2 sets of foam ear tips and 9 sets of rubber ear tips. So you're definitely getting taken care of here. You're definitely getting a more premium experience. I would still say it's in that budget, but definitely on the very, very upper end of that, as IEMs overall can get way up there. But obviously, let's talk about the meat and the potatoes, the sound quality. How is it? With some tweaks, the FH3 sound quality is great. It does need some tweaks though, and that's really the reason that this is in the number 4 spot. These are tuned out of the box to sound more warm and full, so much more emphasis on lower and mid frequencies. I immediately brought down the mids out of the box with a quick EQ tune, as well as increasing the trebles, and that really brought these to life. In-game, explosions are powerful, and with a quick tune, the mids are clear and the trebles are crisp. Directional sound is great, and it's very easy to decipher where gunfire or enemies are coming from, footsteps, things like that. So again, these have great drivers, but they just need a little bit of a tune out of the box. Now, needing a tune out of the box, paired that with the higher price point, still in the budget category, but right up there, that's the reason this is in the number 4 spot. But let's talk about comfort. These are definitely the heaviest, but they sit very nicely in my ears personally. Probably my favorite fitting IEMs on the list. Ear cups fit more snugly and you really feel locked into these. But at the same time, they aren't fatiguing, and that's probably due to the really nice ear hooks that kind of pull that weight and disperse it more evenly. Now, as for connectivity, these are wired with a detachable MMCX cable. And again, this feels very premium with metal around the 3.5mm connection. It's just a very nice experience. Now, the one thing is this doesn't have any mic at all. So again, you'll need like an external mic or no mic if you're just not going to use a mic. But with that, let's move on to the number 3 spot. And that is the TRUTHEAR Hexa, coming in at a price tag of $79.99. The Hexas here have a nice, sleek, and simple design. The shells are 3D printed in a frosty black plastic with a metal faceplate on the front with the TRUTHEAR logo printed on the right earbud. They feel very solid and well built overall. In the box, you get a faux leather carrying pouch, as well as 6 sets of rubber ear tips to really get the fitment how you want it. It also comes with 1 set of foam ear tips, so that is cool to really dial in how you want to use your IEM. This is a little bit more of a premium touch, and I appreciate that. Now, sound quality on the Hexas is good. You get a huge step up with clarity with these. The mids are well balanced, and the treble is super crisp and clear, and that's one of the biggest points with these. The crispness, the clarity is very good on the upper end of that frequency range. That being said, these do lack bass, so you're not gonna get as emotional of the side of gaming, especially with like explosions or background music. I personally play a lot of Battlefield. I've been getting more into Warzone recently, but with Battlefield, a lot of that multiplayer experience is hearing like the music, the explosions. When you're getting towards the end of a game, it gets very emotional, and you're just not getting as much of that with this headset. But again, if you're more of a Warzone player, that may not matter to you at all. So it's really definitely about personal preference here. So the flip side of that is that you're not getting the super nice deep bass. Directional sound here is very impressive. You can easily tell where enemies, grenades, planes, clicks of guns, everything. It's just super clear. And with this kind of quality, it's really where if you're not used to higher end audio listening devices, you're really going to hear sounds that you've never heard before because they just can't pick it up on more budgety, like worse headsets or even IEMs. But this is really where it gets quite good in those really crispy trebles. Now, at some points, it even got a little bit too crisp for me. I'm very particular with audio quality, so sometimes it could get a little bit too much. Now, that's something that an EQ tune can absolutely change. If you want to tweak it a little bit, you know, it's not that hard to do. So for FPS games, competitive playing, things like that, it is fantastic. Or depending on the kind of music that you listen to, this could also sound very good. Not as much with like more modern-y, very deep bassy music, but if you're more into rock or if you're into classical, things like that, it can sound really good. Still prefer more bass for music, but yeah. Now for comfort, the Hexas are very comfortable. The angle they sit in my ears causes no discomfort, and I almost forget that they're there. The ear hooks don't press too hard against the back of my ear, but they still feel snug. It's overall just a good balance, and I have really nothing bad to say here. For connectivity, this is wired with a detachable 2-pin 0.78mm cable with a 3.5mm connection to plug into your PC or whatever you're plugging it into. Now, this is the most unique looking cable on the list. It has this twisted, awesome, like black rubber coating on it, but it's like a twisted cable, so it makes it look extremely cool. I personally love it, and it's my favorite looking cable, but I'm very into uniqueness because I've seen so much of like everything in the gaming community. However, it does get tangled a little bit easier than others on the list, but personally, I don't think that's too big of a problem because the cables themselves are just not super long. As for a mic, there is no mic. So like the others, you'll need to get an external mic or go micless. But with that, let's move on to the number 2 spot, which is actually a very good value. This is the KZ ZS10 Pro X, coming in at a price tag of only $55.99. And for what you get here, that is a really good price. Now for the build quality, these have a resin smoky black translucent shell with a alloy plate in the front with cutouts, as well as a metal nozzle. Then on the cable itself, there is a mic with a button to play pause. That is a nice touch. Now these are less flashy than the Zero 2s, but I still think they're better overall if you have the money, but the Zero 2s are just so good for that really ultra low, ultra budget price point where you're still getting a solid IEM. Now one of the only things I don't like is that in the box, you only get 2 extra rubber ear tip sizes, and that I think is kind of an oversight, but that's really the only problem because sound quality on the Pro X's is impressive. These sound more full compared to the Hexas with much more bass. In game, there is more rumble to the lower frequencies, so you get that more emotional side of gaming with explosions sounding much more substantial and realistic. The mids are full and the trebles are crisp, but this does have a bit less clarity in the upper frequencies than the number 3 spot. The Hexas have better drivers overall, but these are tuned perfectly out of the box for gaming for a very balanced sound. And with them being a little bit cheaper, I do think that this is a better option value-wise. The Hexas are still great, but a little bit better value. Now, directional sound here is also good, with footsteps being very easy to pinpoint. And personally, I really like the balance of the Pro X's. It's just a great out-of-the-box experience, and for about around 56 bucks, it's a dang good IEM. Now, for comfort, they have a comfortable weight to them. In ear, the shape of the earbuds sits nicely. The rubber tips have some ridges on them, which I originally wasn't a fan of, but after a while I got used to it. And the ear hooks here are much more rigid with a thicker nylon coating, making them feel very secure for intense gaming sessions if you tend to move your head around a lot, or if you have like a super ultra wide where you're literally going to be moving your head. This is a little bit better for that, but overall, for comfort, I really like these. Now, connectivity. These are wired with a detachable nylon-coated 2-pin 0.75mm cable with a gold-plated 3.5mm connection for your PC or whatever you're plugging into. Now, these are more premium feeling than the Zero 2s, especially at those 2-pin connector points. It's just nicer. It is more expensive, but yeah. One thing I will mention is that you can get this with or without a mic. So if you want to go micless and you have an external mic, then you can definitely do that, but if you want like a full package and just kind of like an all-in-one, you can definitely do this with a mic, which is awesome. But with that, take a listen.
This is the mic test of the KZ ZS10 Pro X's. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3.
And that is how it sounds. Now, out of the box, this is a little bit quiet, but if you pump the gain up, then this sounds quite good. And currently at the time of filming, it doesn't cost more to get it with a mic, so I mean, I probably personally would do that. But with that, let's move on to the number 1 best budget IEM you can buy. This is the FiiO FH3 coming in at a price tag of $79. The build quality here is actually pretty basic. They are completely made of black plastic. They have an angular kind of cool design, and the FiiO FH3 printed on the inside portion. They look very clean, just much more minimal than others on the list. That being said, this actually has controls on the cable for volume as well as play pause, which is a nice touch to have. In the box, you get a carrying pouch, removable rubber ear hooks, and 4 extra rubber ear tips. Now overall, the reason these are in the number 1 spot, especially with an IEM, is sound quality. These are the best sound quality on the list. And they're not even the most expensive, so that's a plus. Sound quality here is clear, neutral, evenly balanced, as well as having great clarity. Explosions in game sound great, mids are clear and full, and the trebles have a nice crispness to them without being over boosted. In-game directional sound is great. It's easy to pinpoint footsteps, gunfire, or even where like a flamethrower is being used. It just sounds great. Reloading sounds are crisp, planes flying overhead are dramatic. Now the bass here is also great. It's not quite as much as the previous one, but for music and things like that, if you're big into listening to music, this sounds absolutely exceptional, especially if you are coming from a headset and you want better sound quality at a lower price point. That's where IEMs absolutely shine. Now for comfort, these are very light without the ear hooks on. You can either put them on or off, which is cool. The shape of them sits in my ear nice and comfortably, and the rubber tips create a good seal for me. Again, all of this is going to be very, very subjective to your ear canal, but this does have an extra 4 tips, so it should be good. Overall, very comfortable for long gaming sessions, and if you want to feel more locked in, you can always put the rubber ear hooks on, which I do appreciate that. Especially with something that's going to go in your ear, I think customization for fitment is extremely important. Now, for connectivity, this is wired with a non-detachable 3.5mm cable, so for long-term durability, not the best. However, it does have a nice thick rubber coating on it, so I do think the durability is going to be quite good, but again, I would prefer a detachable cable. However, obviously, the sound quality to me is worth it, and the price point is very good for the sound quality that you get. Now, lastly, this does come with a mic. Again, it's fairly quiet out of the box, but if you increase the gain, and if you move it closer to your mouth when you talk, it's actually quite good. But don't take my word for it, take a listen to the mic test.
This is the mic test of the FiiO FH3. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 3.
And that is how it sounds. But again, if you want to check out any of the 5 IEMs in this video, there's Amazon links below for the US, UK, Canada, and international links. I know that you guys have been asking for this video and budget IEM video for a very long time, and we finally got around to testing a bunch of IEMs and then finally bringing you this list. So I really do hope you guys enjoyed this. But yeah, this is Consumer Tech Review, and I'll see you guys in the next video.